Shaquille O'Neal surprised a young fan that has a massive foot problem.
I started to get really worried. It was scary at first because I realized, oh, I'm not gonna have shoes. I'm gonna have to like start walking barefoot.
Imagine your feet being size 21 and trying to find any shoes that come in your size. That's been the main problem for Eric Kilburn Jr., who stands at a towering 6'10", and he's only 14 years old.
What size shoe were you jamming your foot into for a while there?
I wanna say it was a 16.
And you should have been wearing a size what?
Like 20, 21-ish.
Maybe I'll fit in different shoes because these are tight. I'm getting blisters on the top of my feet because they don't extend high enough or they're not wide enough. It's been impossible. My parents have called every shoe place you can think of. They've called them. Nike, Reebok, Adidas, just nothing. They've led to nowhere.
Eric's parents have desperately tried to find him a pair of shoes to wear. They reached out to hundreds of people to make sure that Eric's story was heard. And when they received a surprise phone call, they couldn't believe who's on the other side.
I'm doing it because to walk in there and see a family put a smile on their face for a day, that's just awesome to me.
As far as charities go, there are few that give back as much as Shaquille O'Neal.
Whenever I go to a store from now on, I'm buying somebody else something, period. All right, grab your bike. Make it quick. Every day I leave the house, I gotta bless somebody. I can't keep all this. Ooh, mongoose.
Outside of being an unbelievably nice person and just gives back a ton, don't forget, Shaquille O'Neal was a dominant basketball player. He was a 4-time NBA champion, a league MVP, a 15-time All-Star, 14-time All-NBA, and an NBA Top 75 player, and has so many more accolades in basketball. But Shaq wants to be known more than just basketball.
I want to be something more than Shaq. The Shaq guy's gonna fade away because you got Steph Curry and all these guys stepping up. The Shaq guy will fade away at some point in time, but Dr. Shaquille O'Neal will be around forever.
Throughout Shaquille O'Neal's life, one of his favorite things to do is give back to people who are less fortunate than him. And he learned these lessons from his parents.
On Thanksgiving, he would go to the barracks, round up the troops, and we'd have blankets, we have all the army rations that they were getting ready to throw away. Whatever we can, Spam, peanut butter, bread, give it to the homeless people. So those are 3 things that I do today because of what a man that made $30,000 a year taught me. From a woman who was a secretary, probably made $20,000 a year. They taught me that. So, a lot of people, when they look at me and the charities that I do, this is from the heart.
Shaq has donated unthinkable amounts of money to charities, foundations, projects, and just random acts of kindness. It feels like at least once a year there's a story about Shaquille O'Neal doing something unbelievably nice.
Look at this. Shaq randomly paid for a young man's engagement ring?
This happened yesterday. I was in Zales looking for some loop earrings, and I seen a guy come in. He was just so shy. He was saying, hey, how much do I owe to pay off my ring? It was just, and I was like, my man, how much is the ring? I'm not going to say the amount, but it's not enough to me. But and this is something that I do every day. Tell these dudes I'm buying these for these kids.
Miren, esa computadora se la comprado a los niños.
¿Qué es eso? ¿Qué es eso? ¿Qué es eso?
Mira, los dos tienen una computadora igual que esta.
Kylan Owen is a senior at South Oak Cliff High School. He's listed as a 6'9" basketball player. And Wednesday, he got some help suit shopping from an NBA great.
The one and only Shaquille O'Neal.
How you doing? How you doing? Doing all right? Yes. I want to say I'm proud of you and everything you're doing.
Thank you.
Academically in school.
Kylan's parents say it's a struggle to find clothes that fit their son. That's when JCPenney learned of his dedication on and off the court. They called in their big and tall ambassador, Shaquille O'Neal, to step in to help.
So when Shaq heard about Eric Kilburn's story, he knew exactly what he needed to do. As Shaq knows from personal experience, it's really challenging to find a massive shoe in your size.
I used to wear one pair of shoes for 3 years straight. I used to wear 13, 14, 15, but I used to squeeze my feet in a size 13. Then I have to come home and wash them and make them look brand new so when I go to school, kids don't talk crazy about me and have to fight. So I know the struggle, and I don't forget the struggle.
Shaq reached out to Eric's family and sent him a special gift.
The family gathered around the kitchen table and the booming voice of a Hall of Famer on the other side.
These shoes were sent from Shaq and Reebok. Yeah, these shoes were custom tailored for Shaq, and then they were left over, so they sent them to me. Shaq and I had a conversation over the phone. We talked for a minute about football and sports, and then he said, I'm gonna send you shoes.
With the help of Shaq, Eric's story exploded to the point where multiple shoe companies volunteered to help create more shoes just for Eric.
And so after searching everywhere, Rebecca reached out on social media. 3 shoe companies have reached back. Under Armour, which actually flew to the Goodrich, Michigan area yesterday, took measurements and agreed to custom make critical kicks for Eric.
What an amazing story for a 14-year-old that just doesn't know any different. And Eric himself is very appreciative.
I'd just like to thank everyone for being there to help me when I need it most.